All right, so I had installed, this was a little tedious, but getting this is an 2023 LT1 crank. This came out of Camaro for performance company. I think the Camaro had like maybe 15 miles on it. Now this is their GM's Forge crank, so we're going to try it out and pretty much see how much power it's going to make or take really. So this is going in SUV to mile, and I'll show you the block after this. But what I had to do, I had to cut a new keyway slot because an LS, the keyway is back here, and on an LT, it's just right in the front. So there's two differences from an LS to an LT crank. Is that this being an LT1 crank, and it's an 8-bolt flange in the back. Since it's going in a race car, it doesn't matter to me. But I had made this fixture plate to do this like a year ago. We're finally getting a chance to do it because we're at the stage where we need to get the motor ready. So I kind of made it support the crank. It came out great. So on a perfect that I indicated it in, so to have the keyway slots right up and down, these two rod journals here have to be perfectly level. These are within 1/10 of each other, so yeah, that's pretty good. And then I had a hole already in here, and I just kind of made this cantilever kind of thing with some Tico stuff. Same here, but just to get it, sitting on. Took apart a feeler gauge kit and got it sitting where it needs to be. I did also, prior to that, TIG on both sides of the counterweight onto the 58 tooth reluctor wheel, so that's done. I wound up. This is I forgot. I gotta look at when I got this what grade it is, but I got a 12-inch length 3/16 keyway stock. It fits in there pretty good. I'm going to tap it down and just confirm that I don't have a balancer, but I'm just going to go with height. And just to confirm, because I did cut this down, this is 94 thou down. So it should be pretty close. But I'm going to see what it is on the edge there, and hopefully it's a reasonable measurement. But that's it. And this is GM's Forge crank. I think it's like a 1054, whatever grade forged steel crank. So we'll see what it does. Who knows? I mean, as long as it's installed right. I am doing King bearings a little bit bigger. This being a twin turbo setup on low boost for now, just to get the season kicked off and get the testing done and not messing up on the tune or anything else. And blowing a $20,000 motor up. I'd rather blow up a $5,000 motor. So, and I don't even think I'm going to be anywhere near that with this, because just getting these deals, I got this for free. So you can get it for a couple $100, $500 max, I think. Even new, I'm not certain, but I know they're not that expensive. I like that it's pinless, kind of drilled through. I do have to have it balanced, obviously, with the bob weight of all, the bearings, the rings, pistons, all that stuff. So it's going to get balanced. Again, it's already been balanced, obviously, from the factory, but it's going to get done again. So glad you got that done. Get this part of the machining done. I can't balance here, but I'm going to send it out and get that done. So I will show you the block real quick, and we'll get the bearings in it and start checking clearances and just making sure all that's good to go, and then we'll send it off to get balanced. Alright, I'm not going to flip it over. Just got it all prepped. Just ran it through the wash tank last night, let it sit, and it's all clean. I bought this block off of Facebook Marketplace, and it checked out pretty good. So is a 03 to 07 Vortec LQ4 block. I don't know what it came out of, but I know if you don't know if it's like a 6-liter LQ4 by the code, right? So the back serial number, block number, it starts from 99 to 07, but from 03 to 07, the cam journal, without the cam bearing in it, should be, I think, 2,342 or 2,346. So 2-inch, 346 thou from 03 to 07. And 09 to 02 and a half, 03, it's 2-inch, 326 thou. So it's bigger for 03 to 07. So that's how I figured that out. That's the only difference between those blocks. Why they did that, I don't know. Possibly to have it have the different size cam bearings, which is good. So this block is half filled with concrete. You can see it come out. Again, the block is upside down. And it's already bored and decked. The 4-inch 80 thou. So we are right at the limit there for, well, I'm going to push it till it breaks, but not right away. So we're right at the limit. And yeah, it's all ready to go, cleaned. I've just been spraying some WD on it after. Got the mains. Now I bought it with ARP hardware and these LSA caps. So it's already been line honed, and we checked all that stuff, checked the bores, everything looks great. It's sat for about a year and a half. So some of the ARP hardware that I pulled out of it had a little bit of rust around a couple threads, little spots I wasn't happy with. So obviously I'm not running them. I had a brand new set of ARP studs for this, factory studs, or factory thread size. So I got these sitting in there. That works out pretty good. Just waiting on the bearings. They should be here soon. And we'll get the clearances checked for the mains. And once that's done, then we send it off to balancing, and hopefully I do have the rods and pistons. They came out of another motor. They're Cali's Comstars rods, 6 1/8 with DSS forged pistons. And the reason I bought this block is because it had, I don't have them here, they're actually at the machine shop waiting for me to bring everything else, but the pistons that I had were already 4-inch 80 thou bore from my aluminum L92 block. So which that's going to get done too, but there's not enough time for me to sleeve it, and then wait for the machine shop to hone everything and align hone. I actually have to have my L92 block align hone first after I finish making the mains. I'm making the main caps for it. But anyway, so I had everything out of the L92, and I had my LS1 crank, LT1 crank, but I was going to get some nice stuff for an Eagle crank and CP Carrillo pistons for the L92 block, but there's not enough time. So I'm putting this stuff together, which I know that it'll be good to 1,200 horsepower. So as long as it's built right, and we'll get this thing ready for the season. I'm not too crazy about running an extra 100 pounds on the nose, but again, to get kicked off to start testing soon, I need to get this motor ready and get it in the truck. So I got the main bearings in, the crank in, and again modified the crank. It's got to come back out. We just want to check. Obviously main bearing clearance was checked prior to going in, and check thrust. So I'm right around 2.8, 2.9 thou of clearance. So almost 3 thou of clearance overall. I may get another set that's a little bit a thou bigger to swap out 2 and 4 to make them a little bit bigger. So that's it. I got one of my covers on here for this cover right now. What's going to happen? I'm actually going to weld on the front kind of snout for the crank seal. That's going to get welded on. But I have it all in, all torqued down. Just checking it. Everything moves pretty freely. and I have exactly 6 thou of thrust on the crank thrust end plate. So everything looks pretty good. I used the Moly lube that ARP supplies. I'm not going to be using that for the final assembly, so these are all going to get cleaned off again. Just for the bearings for now, Permatex Ultra Slick, which is, in my opinion, the best stuff out there. If you don't have a way to remove the caps efficiently, I don't. But what I wound up doing is I made these, okay, in an opposite pair. This is 1/2 inch solid rod. Probably get it at Home Depot. But anything really, the basic premise. I prefer using round rod here and here. This is 1 3/4 inch. So like this is 1 3/4 inch long, this is 1 3/4 inch long, and this is 1 3/4 inch long. This here is 3/4 of an inch long. Alright, so they're both the same, pretty much the same. They don't have to be perfect. But what's nice is you use them both at the same time, and they sit on the pan rail, and you pry up, and they come right up. So really quick and easy. I think it was like a 20-minute ordeal to get these made. I just take them up. You can MIG. I didn't really hold them or fixture it. I just kind of, as long as this is flat, kind of to where you're prying, because again, you want it to be able to rock onto the pan rail and then kind of rock on and pull up onto the actual main cap itself. They're really neat, real simple. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money, but that's a pretty cool design there. So right now I'm gonna check. I'm gonna get the rods. We're gonna check rod clearance with the rod bearings. We're gonna mic the mains, the big end of the rod on the crank, and then get our bob weight. And then I'm sure the machine shop we're sending these to, we get a balance. We're gonna double check bob weight, but we're gonna get our bob weight as close as we can. We have pretty good scales and everything. You need to check bob weight to do it, but again, he'll probably do it himself, and then we'll weigh them all, make sure everything's about the same, and then that'll be it. We'll then gap rings. I'm going to use a Napier second ring, and I think the top ring gap, I'm not too certain yet, maybe 26 thou. So I don't remember what I'm doing. I have it written down somewhere. Once that's done, it'll be ready to go. We just got to get a oil pan for it. And again, on the driver's side of the block, we have to modify a little bit of the oil pan. Even though it's pretty shallow right here, we still have to modify it for the front diff. So, but big progress getting this all done and ready to go. I'm not too certain about doweling these quite yet. I don't think it's worth it on this block to dowel the mains. So yeah, I in all honesty, I don't think it's worth it on these. But like I said, we'll see. There are a couple other things you can do. It's just not. I guess it could work. The built-in windage tray, you can actually have it so that it kind of saddles. I would think saddles out here. Also doesn't hit, the crank doesn't hit, which doesn't look like it really would. I guess it all depends. So I'm gonna throw some ideas around and again try to come up with a clever way. I suppose you could, I don't know, drill out into here. I'm thinking wild ideas just to have a quick, I would say a quick solution to trying to keep the mains from walking too much. But that's the progress so far. I still got to make the front snout for the cover, and I have just a stock back cover. But cool, I'm excited to get this going, and I still got to get a bunch of other stuff too, a good oil pump. head gaskets. I got to cut the O-ring, so it's going to come back apart again to cut the O-ring. I mean, they say they handle a good head gasket nowadays can handle 12 horsepower, like a Kinetic or whatever. There's a couple of the companies out there that say it can handle it, but again, I'm not too certain yet. Definitely on the aluminum block. I'm not trying to cut corners, but I think, again, with time and everything else, I think if I think I'm going to have other concerns on this block than kicking out a head gasket. And if I do, then I'm just going to bring a couple sets of head gaskets. Like, what else can I really do? You know, so I think that's where I'm going to be at for now. I think I'm going to focus more of my attention in better parts in the aluminum block and then go from there.